everybody. You're taking dance class with Kay today, and it's a solid technique class. And as beautiful as you are as a ballerina, we've noticed that we are slipping a little bit with some of the technique that needs to be polished up. Take this video very seriously, study it several times, and make sure you're doing all the other videos we're sending. Hope to see you soon. I love you. Goodbye. I miss you. It's a beautiful day in my neighborhood. Let's be outside today. So today we're going to work on things that your teacher says during dance class, but you may not understand what she's saying. So we're working right now between our hips doing the rotating to have our legs turn out and our ankles and feet to reach into a full point. So during this part, we're using our hips, our ankles and feet. Oh, hi, kitty. There went my hips again. I'm wanting you to do all of these moves with me. The cat's going to join in with us. So we're using the turnout to get our feet to rotate to our natural first position. We're using our ankles to roll to a flex and full point. So this next exercise is showing you what your teacher says when she says don't sickle your feet. Sickling is turning inward. Winging is turning out. This is done from the ankle. We don't want to sickle, but we do like to wing. So later on we'll learn how to wing when we're doing an arabesque. By the way, the cat's name is Jazz. How many times have you heard your teachers say, point your toes, point your toes? Now, this is not quite good enough. Not good enough. Not good enough. Better. Better. Now, this is wrong. Clenching, what's getting ready to happen. Whoops, did you see that? I clenched my toes. We don't want that. We want to extend our toes from our foot. And we want that strong, long point. I want you to try this and point your toe as hard as you can. And now I'm going to turn it sideways. Do you see I'm actually winging my foot also? We learned that just a minute ago. Now today I'm using this grid that will help you see where front, side, and back is. You see that dotted line? That's my side. That's where my turnout is naturally. I don't have perfect turnout. Very few people do, but I'm always trying to get better. So that dotted line is going to show us where my leg goes. Now I have one foot without my tights pulled over it. That way you can see how my toes are spreading out and they're not curling. So there's my perfect turnout for me. And all my toes are on the floor. This is a forced turnout when I'm trying to get completely sideways. See, I can't even straighten my knees. And if you'll notice, my feet are curling. And so my little toe is off the floor. So within my hips, just like we learned at the very beginning, this is where my hips are turning and allowing my foot to be in my turnout. Now you see my heels are on the line right now. I'm in first position, so both of my heels are touching the yellow line. But as I slowly extend out to the front, my toe has to meet the yellow line. As I draw it in, my heel returns to the yellow line. I'm always leading with my heel out so you can see your heel, and then pull back with your baby toe so it pulls right into a really nice first position. Same to the side. We want that heel pulled forward. And to the back, we lead with the little toe and pull in with the heel. That's a little different, and we'll go over that later. That's a little harder. Remember, you're trying all of this with me. Let's pull into fifth position. Once again, both of my feet are turned out from the hip, so a nice little tiny slice of pizza can go right there. My arch is over top of the line. Now my toe extends to the line, and I keep pulling back for that piece of pie to snug in. Now that's wrong. We didn't pull in for the piece of pie to snug in. Stretch out. Not quite. Let's try it again. Snug, snug, little piece of pie. Very good. Same thing to the side. Now we're always keeping that heel forward. Look at that working heel is always forward. Always working forward. And that little piece of pie goes right in there. So how many times has your teacher said, pull up? Strong legs. We don't want these floppy legs. So from the knees up, we're pulling upward. This is going to help with your balancing and your jumping. And you're doing this with me. Now, when we extend our leg, we're wanting to push from the knee down, that feeling of strength of going from the knee down. So it's hard to understand, but we want our knee and up to be pulling up, and then from the knee down to be strengthening and extending. Watch that. Yeah, that's what we're needing. Let's go to tendus. Tendu means to point, and we're going to do this en croix. En croix means in the shape of a cross. Now on the floor there is a yellow cross, but my natural turnout will not let me go to the side in a perfect cross. So this is the way my tendu looks to this side. Let me show you incorrect. There it is. That's the side. Did you see how my heel flipped to the back? Now watch my heel disappear, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get that turnout. You're doing this with me. There's to the back. My legs turned out. Back to first position. To the front. I'm fighting for that turnout. And now I go to the side. There's my turnout. And back to first position. Notice all my toes can comfortably get on the ground. Let's work on rond de jambes. Rond de jambe means the circular motion of your leg, meaning to circle your leg. So we're going to do this rond de jambe from the front line to the back line. Now I want you to watch the easy rotation in my leg. You don't see it flip over like that. That's not right. No, you don't want to see that heel hanging around. You want to see, oop, that's not it. So I want to turn it out, and I want to try my best to hold on to that turnout till it can't go any longer, and then it kind of easy and gently rotates in my hip. Both of my hips are trying to stay in place. And back to first position. Now I'm going to move my camera to the very front so you can see rond de jambe from the front. My hips are doing all the motion, but my goal is to keep my hips still as that rotation is happening. Watch my heel. I'm holding on to it the best I can. I don't want it to flip too fast. I want it to be so gentle that you barely see my leg rotate around. And I'm always trying to keep that heel presented. Now I'm going into first position and putting dots on my hips. Now watch how I try to keep my hips level with those dots. The dots are going to stand still, and I'm going to try my best to keep my hips right where those dots are. I'm not going to lift my hip. I'm not going to lower my hip. Did you see where I messed up a couple of times? But that's okay. Let's do frappes. Frappe means to strike. I have an imaginary shelf that sits on top of my supporting leg ankle. My working foot is going to flex and sit on top of that shelf. When I extend my leg, my toes and the ball of my foot will strike the floor, but I'm not striking down. I'm striking with a push outward. So I'm pushing to an extended point. Now I'm going to put this little car in my natural turnout, and when I strike the floor, I will strike and push it. When I go to my extended foot, I'm only about 1.5 inches off the ground. Now let's work on tendus and dégagé. Tendu means to point, but with a tendu, we're going to stay in contact with the floor at all times. As I bring it back into first position, I want to relax my foot so I'm not clenching. I want to stroke through and relax in. Now, a dégagé means to disengage. That means to become unattached. So you see how it's coming off of the floor. It will come off the floor only about 1.5 to 2 inches. See how I'm pushing that heel forward, and that's caused by my hip doing the turnout. Now let's do it from fifth position. Remember, tendu means to point. Dégagé means to disengage. So there's my tendu. And remember that piece of pie we were trying to get every time we pull in? We're going to work on retiré. Retiré means to withdraw. We're trying to draw our foot into our leg, taking it to the highest point without our hips getting all wonky. Now that's wrong. So we're going to use the term open your window. We want that window to be as open as possible. When you lower into first, you see how my foot is sliding through. I'm almost massaging my foot through first position. Do you see how far my heel was from my knee? Now watch this. It's got to go back to a relaxed foot. Now here's from fifth position. Now this will make almost an arrow. The widest part of your arrow at the bottom, all the way to the top, and then we're going to close it in the back. So we drew it up our leg in the front, took it to the highest point without our hips getting wonky. Our foot is fully pointed, and then we would draw it down. So if you go from the front to the back, you would have an arrow drawn on your leg. Now let's add on to what we just did. We're going to do développé. Développé means to develop. We start with our retiré, stroking through the floor, lifting to the highest point with our foot fully pointed, and all we do is just develop the leg out. We didn't try to do anything hard. Relax the foot, drawing and keeping your foot in contact with your leg, full point, and just open it out. You don't even, not having to do anything really hard. That's incorrect. Did you just see how my leg twirled inward? That's where we want our leg to be. We want that heel to be forward. That's done from the turnout at our hip. Good job, everybody. Now, I really want you to take this seriously and do this video several times. The muscle memory is very important as a dancer, and we want to make sure we're not the same dancer that we were yesterday. I miss you. I want you to keep working very hard on the videos that we're sending. Have a grand and glorious day. Can't wait to see you again. I love you.